Hey y'all, I am sitting outside of the grocery store about to run in and get some cumin because I started to make my chili recipe and realized I didn't have any cumin. Could I have made it without it? Yeah, but cumin just gives it that little something that gives it like true chili flavor. So ran to the store. I'm gonna pick some of that up. In today's video, you're gonna see 2 crock-pot soup recipes. It's that time of year, y'all. Break out the crock-pot, make all the soups, the stews, the chilies. The first recipe you're gonna see is my potato soup. Super easy, made with frozen hash browns. It's a family favorite. Everybody loves it. And then the second recipe is going to be my chili recipe. And y'all, it's the best chili you will ever eat. I'm not even exaggerating. I found a recipe a few years ago. We tweaked it. We've tweaked it some here and there to make it our own. And I think even like in my recipe book, I think I even have it labeled as the best chili. It's really good. So I'm going to run in the store, grab some cumin, get back and start on the chili. But the first thing you're going to see is that crock-pot potato soup. And hey, we might have hit 30 degrees now, but it was a cold morning. My cheeks are a little red. My hair is a little crazy. It's just where we're at right now. And I'm Tiffany, by the way, and I share a video here on this channel every Saturday morning. We would love to have you as part of our family. Here is the recipe for the potato soup so that you can screenshot it. It will also be down in the description box. It's as simple as just putting everything in the crock pot. In goes my shredded hash browns. Sometimes I use shredded and sometimes I use the diced, the little cubed hash browns. I had some homemade hash browns from the potatoes that we grew in our garden, but I've used all those hash browns. So these are store-bought. Totally fine. My heavy cream, my milk, my chicken broth, all that going in. Now, I think the recipe calls for 2 cups of chicken broth and 1 cup of water. I knew that this frozen chicken broth I had was more than 2 cups, so I just went ahead and put all of that in and didn't add any extra water. Another thing that I'm changing up is the recipe calls for a full block of cream cheese, a full 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm just doing half of that today because I knew I wanted to use the rest of the cream cheese for something else. I have some friends like Jessica at Phil's Full House. She makes this without any cream cheese. So that's the beauty of cooking in your own kitchen. You can change things up. And then in goes the onion. I'll also tell you, I forgot to mix my flour in with my heavy cream. So usually what I do is I mix the flour in with the heavy cream and then pour it into the crock pot. I got ahead of myself today and didn't do that. And I did not want to sprinkle the flour just over the top of everything. I wanted to mix it into liquid so that it would combine very well. So what I did was I just waited until everything, and you'll get to see a clip of this, but I went ahead and waited until everything had started to melt. And then I put in my flour so I could stir it in really well. I also decided to add a little garlic powder today because why not? The lid goes on and I'm going to set this on low. You could do low 6 to 8 hours, high 2 to 4, whatever works for you. And I also really like that this new crock pot I have, once the timer goes off, it will just automatically set to warm. I don't have to worry about leaving something on too long if we're going to ball games or whatever we might be doing. So that's really nice to have this crock pot with those functions. Here I am putting in that flour. I could have even pulled some of the liquid out and mixed the flour in, but I went ahead and sprinkled it over the top and just made sure that I stirred it in really well. You just don't want any clumps. Now with these recipes, I did not get any clips of the soups or the chili in the bowl, but just trust me when I say it was delicious. We plate this up usually with a little extra cheese on the top, maybe some chives or green onion sprinkled over the top, and it's delicious. On to the chili. And like I said, I have this labeled as the best chili because it is so good. Here's that recipe. So if you want to screenshot it, you can. I know it looks like a lot of ingredients, but it's really not. It's simple things that are pretty easy to just throw together. A lot of times I'll even keep onion and bell pepper diced up and in the freezer, so I don't even have to do that. I can just grab it out of the freezer. Today I wanted to cut up some bell pepper and some onion, so I went ahead and got one so that I could cut it up fresh. You'll also get to notice that I had some little helpers, actually several helpers, big helpers and little helpers when it came to making the chili. There's one of my big helpers. Easton's helping brown up the ground beef while I get the onion and the bell pepper chopped. And then the two littlest boys came in to help put everything in the crock pot. Now, the recipe calls for a can of chili beans and a can of light red kidney beans. I had 2 cans of chili beans today, so that's what I'm using. It also calls for a can of diced tomatoes. I wanted to try out this can of chili starter tomatoes to see what I thought of that, and I like it. It's more pureed than a diced tomato, which I have some people in my family that they just don't like big chunks of tomato. Usually I can get away with diced canned tomato, but this was even better for them because there were no chunks of tomato, so I liked using that. In go some of the other ingredients. That beef broth that you saw, I was using bouillon cubes. I didn't want to get my water too hot with little helpers, so they'll finish dissolving as the chili heats up. I also, instead of using minced garlic today, instead of getting some of our fresh garlic and chopping it up, I went ahead and used garlic powder. The little boys had come in to help, and instead of taking the time to mince up garlic, I just went ahead and used garlic powder because they were helping me dump everything in, and that just made it easy. Cocoa powder and brown sugar. Y'all, I'm telling you that those are the secret ingredients. Shh, don't tell nobody. Just kidding, just kidding. But really, though, they do not give a chocolatey or a real sweet taste to the chili, but they add incredible depth of flavor. You need to be adding cocoa powder and brown sugar to your chili. I love that my kids want to get involved with cooking and baking and being in the kitchen, even my boys. And I want to encourage them to be in the kitchen and to help me. Does it make things take a little bit longer sometimes? Are there a few extra messes sometimes? Yeah, but so worth it. I set this for 7 hours today because I knew about what time we would be. I went to get cumin and about forgot to put it in there. Gotta be careful. I put this on low for 7 hours just because I know about what time we are planning on eating tonight. You could do 6 to 8 hours, and this crock pot will automatically go to warm once that time runs out. We'll serve this with some sour cream and shredded cheese, probably. Maybe some tortilla chips because I've got some in the pantry. Y'all, I'm sitting out in the car doing this voiceover because I knew it would be quiet out here. Huddy just came out to let the chickens out, and he came running back across the yard with 50 chickens running after him, following him. They were excited. He was running. They were following. Everybody was happy. They weren't chasing him like to be mean. They were just happy. And so here he come running across the yard with 50 chickens following him. Can you hear them? Can you hear the little chicken noises? Y'all, it sure was nice to have dinner ready. Everything already cleaned up. All we had to do when we got home from ball games was enjoy some chili. Hope y'all enjoyed spending time with me today. Y'all get in the kitchen and make some memories with the people you love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.